We welcome you to this healing meditation as we sit in service. Take a few moments to connect with the intention that as we sit, as we hold space together, we do so in service for healing energies, for love and light, to move through our bodies like a vessel and go where they are needed most for the highest good of all. As we sit in this service, we do so in trust, in faith, with love and humility, that nothing needs to be proved, nothing needs forcing. Allowing yourself to be open to this experience and what is right for you. You might be called to pray out loud, people's names or places that might come to you. You might already have them in your heart. You might pray silently. You might experience sensations, sounds, vibrations, or simply be as you are, holding space with the intention for healing energies. There's no right or wrong way to experience this. In a moment, we will open with a prayer of protection before we sit for the 20 minutes in service. And before we do so, I wanted to share with you a dhamma lesson that I learned from my mentor, Greg. It is the lesson from the Room Schoolhouse. I think certain events came up for me today, and perhaps I felt that if this lesson perhaps was shared more often, that more people would be able to take things as they are, find more peace in their life, find resolve, and just enjoy this beautiful gift of life that we all have and share. So you might bring to mind the idea of a one-room schoolhouse. You may conjure up images of chalkboard writing, slates, perhaps a countryside landscape, or a small rural community. You may picture one teacher giving lessons to a mixed group of first years through fifth year students, and perhaps wonder, how could one teacher be so effective in instilling proper education to all ages with one lesson? To captivate the diverse audience, a teacher would often introduce concepts through analogies, parables, or stories in order to instill wisdom appropriate for each student's current mental faculties. The Adventure of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain is a story that illustrates how teaching many levels through storytelling can work. For the younger students, it may represent a fun story packed with adventure. The more mature student, however, may acknowledge the underlying theme of racism and morality. And even though the younger mind may not grasp the deeper concepts in the story, the seeds of wisdom are planted, allowing them to blossom at a time when properly nourished, if not instantly. Teaching through analogy works because the teacher is able to address the entire group while allowing each individual to grasp the lesson at the level they are capable of understanding. And throughout history, one can see that many kindred spirits use this method, from Buddha to Jesus. Learning something new has its challenges. That is why teaching through analogy is successful. It allows the learner to connect to something known or familiar with the new idea. Acquiring new knowledge can be uncomfortable because it often requires expanding or shedding from what is already known or believed. Learning versus remembering demands a sacrifice from our ego's previous attachments, beliefs, or ideas. It takes a level of courage to explore new terrain, to question what is comfortable, and to step into the unknown, which is what we ask ourselves to do each time we seek new experiences. So perhaps sitting for healing is a new experience for you. Hold space for that vulnerability. As you step into the unknown, be brave, be courageous, trust your experience. Let yourself be open. And I ask, what if we had the courage to look at the world just the way it is? What if we tried to expand the lesson from the one-room schoolhouse to include not just a small classroom, but the entire world and all its peoples? By broadening our boundaries of the one-room schoolhouse to the entire globe, and not just a small rural classroom setting, we can begin to change our perceptions of others and our reactions to them. We can become more compassionate and empathetic toward another. A lot of our stress, our suffering, is often due to passing judgments of right or wrong, or getting caught up in the way things should or ought to be. This type of stress will start to disperse when we empower and interchange, employing the wisdom of the one-room schoolhouse. We will see the world through an inner serenity and truly love thy neighbor, not for how we think they should be, but love them for who they are. If we abandon some old belief patterns, we may live the wisdom of the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Know that you can eliminate stress due to passing judgments or being shocked by the way others act if you remember that the entire world is like a one-room schoolhouse. If you find yourself stressed due to viewpoints like what should be, take a step back and remember to view the situation from the other's point of view. Apply empathy instead of treating others based on what you believe to be right or wrong. When you apply empathy towards others and understand that each individual is acting at the level of awareness they are capable of, you are in a position to replace negative reactions or views with a compassionate perspective. When you are both empathetic and compassionate towards events and people, you become more detached from a singular view. Your perspective becomes broader, discerning, and in alignment with the reality of nature, the way things are. So once more, I ask us to sit in courage, and perhaps the courage to look at the world just the way it is.
For those of us who are about to sit in unity with the intention of sending out our loving, healing thoughts to the universe, we ask that the greater light of that universe take those healing energies and send them out into the cosmos wherever it is needed most. All living beings who at this moment may be suffering from the pain of loss, mental anguish, grief, or a sense of their own mortality. may they be sent these energies as a comforting balm to help them in their lives. And we ask too of that greater light, that a protection of light and love be placed around each of us as we sit, so that we have the realization that we are safe and comforted as we send our own thoughts and love out. Amen.
might take a few moments to bring attention to your body and the room you're in, to the breath that moves through. You may sense the temperature of the air on your skin and start to become aware of the sounds in the space you're in, both near and distant. And perhaps as you become aware of these external sounds, keep a gaze inward slightly, just to take a moment in gratitude, thanking yourself for showing up, for offering yourself in this way of service, for healing, for being the change that you wish to see, by being that love that you wish to create. And we thank Spirit as well for their protection, for hearing our prayers and helping to send them where they are needed most. Each time we sit in trust and faith with love and humility. And we'll close tonight's practice by chanting Om. Wherever you are, just draw a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, let out a nice sigh. Empty the breath all the way out. And this time we'll chant Om as we exhale. Inhale deeply. Ah.